Testing, 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 testing. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing. I know. Ellie, I guess I can give you the microphone. Come here. But just so you know, it's very simple. Click on. That's on.
So I click it on and
Yeah.
give it to the kids.
Don't do it until you. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you give it to me now.
Yeah. Why not?
And then the other one, or is it just this one?
Right here.
Taking it off.
I'm gonna give it to you. Yeah.
And then as your mark time,
All right.
just turn and face. All right. I'm gonna do the same thing. Yeah. I'm gonna as soon as I get to the spot.
I'll mark time till you get there.
When I get here, I'll call. You can stop and
Maureen.
start your mark time on that X.
Yep.
I'll be very close to this. I'll call a mark time.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna wheel as well as you guys
As
are
soon
wheeling.
as you're there and you call the mark time, you're gonna be start spinning around.
Yep.
And then I'll just come to the finish.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And then we'll do that. They'll do the pledge.
Yep.
They'll hand over hot. Tommy will do the national anthem salute. After the national anthem,
Eric.
I'm gonna take it out.
Yep.
Drop it in.
Eric, can you just find out if we're okay the way we're positioned?
And then I'll just call left.
Okay. Yeah, with Katie and
Yeah, I know she's got other responsibilities. She's doing her best. I just want to make sure the podium's in the right angle.
okay.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, this can't. Oh boy, this is not going to work.
So where am I
Not
gonna
gonna work. It's not going to work
Okay. What's that?
because the flags they're going to blow this way.
where am I sitting?
Right there, Steve. After,
Okay.
after you're done, are you walking off with them?
I'm gonna march over to here.
And then you go right
I
around.
just go right around and go right
Yeah.
over to
And go back on those chairs.
okay. Is there the other openings on the other side?
Yes.
Okay.
So what are we going to do here, Mike? They're blowing. They're going to blow. What?
I mean, is the camera angle? Is it gonna be if we?
But I think no matter what, this could fall. They could fall.
Do they have any more sandbags?
I can grab some more.
It's
Yeah.
too late. It's 11:15. We start right now. Um, what's the most important flag to have?
The American. I mean,
I think we should just have the American flag then. I'm telling you, we have all sorts of people coming here, and if one goes down, we're screwed.
yeah. I
We're
mean,
screwed.
I think.
Why?
How quickly can you get three more sandbags?
2 minutes.
Hurry up, please.
Okay.
I think one more sandbag on either side. It'll be fine.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is not.
That's. I hate to go. I mean, almost. If we can get another 2 feet that way, you should be good. It won't be.
Does this look okay?
I think so.
So I'm right here. This is where all the speakers will be. I don't know how.
Yeah. Let me go in a second.
Mike, when I go here, when I get to about here, I'm doing mark time.
It's to your back.
Okay. Well, it will be blowing. Is there? Cameraman, you up there? I don't know if it's on automatic or what up there.
I mean, I would if as close to that wall as we can get, Rob would be. It's probably the best. Because I can't cheat much more.
Hold that while I do this. Just hold it like that. Two.
I think the American flag just might be too close to the U.S. flag, the state flag. You're all right.
Okay.
Oh, so just want to make sure.
Testing.
When you're announcing, will you announce it
I'm
the
going
class
to
that
the
they're from?
Absolutely not.
Turn on your own.
I need to know when we can start. When will that run?
I'll stop.
3 minutes. Call Katie. You got your phone there? I gotta know when they're gonna put us live. I don't know where Katie went, but this is her phone. I gotta know when they're gonna wait for me to start, and then we're gonna go live. I don't want them to do it right now. 774.
Yeah, so I'll get here and I'm gonna cheat
Seven
up
for
till
232.
I'm almost on the
Hold on.
stanchion, and I'll call
Oh, come on.
detail. Call.
Okay, here we go.
774 232 8737.
774.
232 8737.
And then at that point, I'm not playing
Oh,
going
yeah,
out.
okay, it says Kate.
Yeah, say,
When it's done,
when do we go live?
Okay, I'm getting forwarded.
I may take one step back.
Ready to roll?
But we don't know when we go live. I gotta find out when we go live. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think they're
Hey, Bob, when do we go live? Is anybody up there? I asked. Could you ask them to give me? Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the opening of School Convening 2021 here at Polar Park in Worcester. My name is Rob Pizzella, School Safety Director for the Worcester Public Schools. Can we all please stand in order to post the colors by the Worcester Police Officers Sean Lovely, Michael Higgins, Thomas Hurley, and Chief of Police Steve Sargent. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce the new principal of the La Familia Dual Language School, Mrs. Ellie Lapafia.
Turn that way. Back up. All the way back. Back up over to here, please. Back up. Right there, turn around. Face this way. You guys line up. La Familia Dual Language is proudly represented today by Hazel Ladonde, entering kindergarten, Rosalie LeBron, entering grade 1, Olivia Lupafia, Loisius Henry, and Giovanni LeBron, entering grade 4. They will be sharing with you the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yo prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos.
Can you shut that off? Thank you. Very much. And now, Officer Tom Hurley of the Worcester Police Department will sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Detail. Left. Pace. Forward. March.
I would now like to introduce the Superintendent of the Worcester Public Schools, Maureen Benenda.
Good afternoon, everyone. The original plans were for all of us to be together at Polar Park to celebrate the 21-22 school year. Due to health concerns about the spread of COVID-19 virus or the variant, all of you are joining us from each of your individual schools or buildings. The 21-22 school year brings many emotions, ranging from continued concern about the COVID virus to excitement for teaching our students in person. I want you to know how important all of you are to our students, their families, and to each other. Feel the positive energy surrounding you today. Carry this enthusiasm to this new school year and commit to make a difference in every child's life. You are all our champions. Every day we will commit to achieving our Worcester Public School why, no matter when or where our students come to the Worcester Public Schools, all students will be successful. More than ever before, this first day of school will be one of the most important days of the school year. Students will be returning to us after experiencing loss of family members, housing and food challenges, and fear of getting the virus. Many students have not been in school for over 15 months. Our children will be looking for our leadership to get them back on the acceleration roadmap. Our work will require collaboration, trust, communication, relation building, problem solving, knowledge, skill building, and lots of energy. Each school will make students, staff, families, and community members feel welcome, valued, and supported. I'm asking all of you to commit to relationship building, establishing a culture of respect, encouragement, and high expectation. For our work to change our students' life, we must all agree to work collaboratively. Teaching with a sense of urgency is required. We are all our students' teachers, the crossing guard, bus driver, cafeteria worker, monitor, custodian, teachers, instructional assistants, administrators, secretaries, support services, nurses, community partners, and city and state elected officials. We must teach at every instructional moment. We will depend on each other and share responsibility for student learning. We have to be committed to learning more and ensure that all our students learn. One person's commitment, as you know, can change the course of a student's life. Stories of the difference educators have made are woven into my experience and the experience of all of you. We join today to celebrate our commitment every day to make a difference in the lives of all children in the Worcester Public Schools. 5,000 of us are working together to give students the courage and the skills to achieve their dreams. Helping students to achieve high expectations is necessary. What we say and how we talk to each other and children are important. Students do not forget those adults who have helped and inspired them along the way. Every one of us must also be a champion. I'd like to share 2 quotes about champions. One is from poet Amit Ray. "It is not over. Champions extend their limits and make things happen." And the second one from Gandhi. "Champions are made from something they have deep inside of them, a desire, a dream, a vision." This year may bring continued challenge for all of us. Today, we demonstrate once again that we are one school system, one city coming together to provide the best education for all our children. As the song states, we are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions of the world. Thank you. I also wanted to just mention that in our police escorts today, Sean Lovely is a South High grad of the class of 1989. Michael Higgins is a South High grad also of the class of 1989. Thomas Hurley is a 1986 grad of the South High class. And Chief Steve Sargent is a class of 1979 from Burncoat High School.
And Rob Pizzella is a graduate from North High School in 1974. I know. I would like to acknowledge school committee member John Monfredo, who's in attendance today. And let's have a warm welcome to the mayor of the city of Worcester, Joe Petty.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you, Madam Superintendent, City Manager Augustus, Steve Sargent, and the teachers and the students that are here today, and everybody who's listening. Good afternoon, and welcome to the 2021 start of the school year. I want to thank everyone who persevered through the last year's difficulties. Everyone's daily work changed, with many of you teaching virtually for the first time, unable to gather together. I know that all of you have all sacrificed to keep each other safe. We're going to continue to do that. We can keep our students, teachers, staff, administrators safe as our city, Commonwealth, and country struggles with the Delta variant of the COVID-19. I know that this year will not be back to normal yet. We will have to we have implemented a mask mandate, and we're still working through the continued busing issues. COVID-19 in our current state of public health is dynamic and fluid situation that we will have to continue to adapt to over the next year. Best practices will change, and we will do our best to keep you informed and safe throughout the year. We have invested millions of dollars to make our facilities as safe as possible with new ventilation upgrades and the ionization system. Some of you are starting school in the brand new South High School Community School, while those of you teaching at Doherty High School are going to see your new high school being built out of your classroom windows. We know that this year will be more challenging than most. Many of your students have gone through an incredibly difficult time over COVID. More than usual, your students have dealt with food insecurity, uncertain housing, and incredible disruption in their families. It will require more work than ever to get your students on task and create a routine. For many of our students, the time they spend in your classrooms will be the most consistent thing in their lives. Amid a time of national turmoil and a worldwide pandemic, you and your classes provide their lives with consistency and regularity that they can count on. Parents raise children, but teachers and schools create citizens. The lessons you teach our students not only prepares them for tests in the next grade level, but for a world that is more interconnected than ever. Our reliance on each other has never been more clear, vivid, and tangible than it is during this public health crisis. We wear masks get vaccinated, not just for ourselves, but for others. Not just for our seniors, but for our children. We make these sacrifices because we are connected and responsible for responsible to each other here in the community. I ask that all you get vaccinated, encourage your students and their parents to be vaccinated when they're able to. For many of our students, you are the most trusted voices in their lives. While you may not listen to politicians and leaders like the governor, the president, or even their mayor, they will listen to you. I will close by saying once again, thank you. Thank you for all the work you do to improve the lives of over the 24,000 students here in the city of Worcester. Miracles happen every day in our schools because of you, the teachers and the staff and the administrators. Good luck and stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. How about another warm welcome for our city manager, Ed Augustus, who was instrumental in bringing Polar Park to our city.
Thank you, Rob, and good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank all those who are taking part today here at Polar Park, and I want to recognize and appreciate the Superintendent Benenda, all of her leadership team, the school committee, and I especially want to thank all of you, the teachers and staff who are watching us virtually. You are the key ingredients in the recipe that makes up the Worcester Public Schools. Our teachers, assistants, bus drivers, custodial staff, nurses, crossing guards, and so many others, each and every one of you play a huge role in the education, safety, and well-being of more than 24,000 students. These children come to school to build a future for themselves, and you are the ones who help shape them. I thank you for your dedication and perseverance during one of the most challenging periods in our city's history. COVID has dramatically changed the way we live our lives and do our jobs. And while we have made progress, we continue to fight the fight. The battle is not over yet. I know there is uncertainty, fear, and concern. This school year, we welcome back students in person. It is a return to some normalcy without all of the normal circumstances we're used to. There will be masks. There are still vaccinations to be done. And there is still the threat of variants as the virus adapts and continues searching for the weakest links among us. I want you to know that we are committed to the health and safety of our students and staff. Last year, we invested more than $15 million installing ionization units and improvements to our HVAC systems in all of our public buildings. This was a strong step to create safer classrooms and conditions in our schools and city buildings. And we continue to get as many people vaccinated as possible to help curb the spread of COVID. Through it all, it is your commitment and dedication that will make the difference. You stepped up last year, and I know you will again this year. We have so much to be proud of in our school system, which serves an increasingly diverse population of students and families. This year's census brought terrific news for Worcester. In the 299-year history of our city, we have more people living here in the city of Worcester than in any other time. 206,000 people, making us by far the second largest city in New England and continuing to grow at a very fast pace. We are committed to providing those students and you the best possible schools to learn in. This year, we will bring online a new South High School, more than a $225 million investment by the city in that state-of-the-art new high school. And construction is now underway for Doherty Memorial High School replacement, another $300 million investment in a new high school. That is $500 million of new school construction. That's the equivalent of 5 Polar Parks that the city of Worcester is investing in the learning environment for our students in the Worcester Public Schools. Beyond that, each year the city invests millions of dollars in repairs, Since 2014, we have spent approximately $75 million in combined city and MSBA funds on accelerated repairs such as roofs, spoilers, windows, and door projects. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon for changing the world." You are all part of that change, part of shaping the minds of every young boy and girl who comes into your classroom, steps onto your bus, walks your hallways, or crosses your street. You all will have an influence on them, and they will remember it, believe me. So thank you again, and welcome back to school.
Thank you, Manager. Up next is a major partner in keeping all of our schools extremely safe and secure. Let us welcome our Chief of Police, Steve Sargent.
I always go after the tall guy, right? Well, welcome back. Thank you for inviting me to speak to you today. I hope you all had a great summer. It went by way too quick. I'm sure this week you have been busy preparing for your classes. I am proud to say that 2 of my sons and my daughter-in-law work in the Worcester Public Schools, and they have been busy gearing up for the school year. My son Robert teaching at Burncoat High School, my daughter-in-law Rachel at Doherty High School, and my son Brendan at Belmont Street Community School. All the talk about going back to school brings back fond memories of when I was a student in Worcester Public Schools. I am a graduate of Hollow Street Grammar School, Burncoat Junior and Burncoat Senior High School. I can't thank my teachers enough for encouraging me, inspiring me, and motivating me. Mrs. Ryan, Mr. O'Toole, Mr. Daly, Dr. Laska, just to name a few. I'm sure I challenged them as well. And someday, 50 years from now, someone is going to think of you and say your name. Let that sink in. And I don't mean sink in on how old I am. But it takes more than just skill to be successful. You need the work ethic and determination that you instill in your students. These are the traits that will ultimately lead to their success as mothers, fathers, police officers, carpenters, lawyers, designers, business owners, and leaders in our great community of Worcester. Albert Einstein said, "It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge." You have been able to engage students and show them the importance of investing in learning. Under the leadership of Maureen Binyenda, you have collectively established a learning atmosphere for students that is highly enriching and memorable. And last year, you were able to do this during the most challenging of times, during a pandemic, where you had to be creative and adapt to captivate students from a distance. It wasn't easy for anyone, but you all did it. The Worcester Police Department is proud of our partnership with the Worcester Public Schools. We are committed to this partnership and want to help in any way we can. Like me, so many of our officers came up through the Worcester Public Schools and have fond memories of, as well as great respect for their days there. We want our officers to build relationships based on trust and respect with students, as well as administrators, teachers, and parents. While our future may not include the School Resource Officer program as we know it, we will always be there for our schools and for our youth. Through our continued partnership, we hope that you will find our offices to be a valuable resource to your schools. We are committed and honored to be working with Worcester Public Schools on a variety of programs to help students reach their fullest potential. In closing, I wish you all a safe and successful year. And once again, thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, Chief. And now I'm going to turn it back over to our Superintendent, Maureen Binyenda.
So at this time, our District Attorney Joe D. Early Jr. Is at a conference, so he has sent us a video which we are now going to share with all of you.
Good morning. As the new school year approaches, I want to take a moment to thank all of you for your hard work. I am a proud product of the Worcester Public Schools. And throughout the past year, your jobs have been more difficult than ever due to COVID. I know that learning doesn't happen unless our schools and classrooms are safe. And you deal with this and have dealt with it through some tough times. They may get tougher, they may not, but I know you're up to the challenge. You've been helping not only to shape the bright minds of our students, but diligently protect their health and safety during these unprecedented times. You yourselves have successfully navigated virtual learning, adapting to each student's needs and offering invaluable guidance during very frustrating and hard times. You are far more than teachers, you're role models. As Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. I thank you for what you've done for our students during this time. I'm proud to say that I'm a product of the Worcester Schools, May Street School, the former Abbott Street School, and Chandler Junior High School. I'm proud to say that all of our kids, my wife Judy, who's sitting with you today, and all of our children either went through Worcester Public Schools or are going through them now. Doherty High School, Forest Grove Middle School, Flag Street, Jacob Hyatt, and West Tatnick. As a parent, as a district attorney, I greatly appreciate what you do every day. Education has seldom faced greater challenges than what we have now. But through your partnership, we remain committed to helping students succeed. I can't tell you how important that is within the criminal justice system. You keep kids busy with your after-school programs between the hours of 3 to 6. Keep them around responsible adults. You partner with us on school presentations such as bullying, distracted driving. As a result of that, juvenile delinquency complaints are down more than 70% in Worcester County, thanks to what you guys do. Whether you're a teacher, a coach, administrator, a police officer, or a district attorney, it's just so important that we give our kids the hope, love, and support and structure they need to succeed. I hope all of you have a safe, happy, and successful school year. It's not going to be without its bumps, but I know you're all up to the task as you have been in so many years prior. You really can measure a city by its teachers, its fire, its police, and today I get to talk to you. Today, it's all about you. Thank you.
It is now my honor to introduce to you 4 students. They are WUSOC scholars. In the spring of last year, all 8th graders were offered to write 3 essays. The 3 essays had to do about their role models, what they wanted to do in life, and to share a experience that made a difference in their lives. There were many students, over 1,000 students that applied. From that, 121 students made it to the next section. And today, I'm proud to introduce to you the 4 award winners. So these 4 award winners are going to share with you one of their essays. They each received $10,000 college scholarship from the Worcester Red Sox. And I would like Dr. Charles to also come up with me as we introduce them and they read their stories. Okay, our first student is Dalton Lee. He will be attending South High Community School.
With my work ethic and the passion I have for STEM, I can see myself leaving a positive impact on my community in the near future. I am a hard worker and set high goals for myself in everything I do. Some interests of mine are technology and engineering. I want to make a career out of them. I believe it's important to have a career that you enjoy doing. Technology is something I truly get excited about. I am fortunate to have identified an interest of mine at a young age. I have been part of technology programs and robotics competitions. I want to make technology better and more accessible for the people in my community. Access to technology could vastly advance our current education system. I will be able to enhance my skills and knowledge of technology and other STEM fields by attending college. College will expose me to many new experiences in the industry. The knowledge acquired in college will help me apply my skills to improve the access to technology for my community. I strive to build off the existing knowledge on coding and robotics. According to the Oxford Dictionary, the definition of technology is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. Practical purposes could be a variety of topics, from improving public transportation to finding new ways to build affordable homes across the city. Overall, the difference I want to make for my community is, in the future, is expand on the existing technology we have already to better the lives of the community. Higher education will allow me to explore new and helpful ideas that would do such.
I'd also like to recognize Diane Bencheria, Worcester School Committee, who's also joined Mr. Monfredo in congratulation to our WUSOC scholars. Our next student is Cassie Vong. She will be attending Burncoat High School.
Good morning. It is an honor for me to read you my reverse poem. The title of my poem is Somebody I Admire. My life is the worst and I hate myself. I convince myself, so don't you guys try to say how responsible and brave I am. I am sensible and kind to others. I am hardworking, smart, and courageous. I am letting you all know that I am not a good person nor amazing. I hate being myself. I always seem to not be the person I want to be. And every day, I lie to myself saying, I am beautiful, and I love myself. I am proud of who I am who I need to be. Nothing can stop me from saying this. I'm dull and speechless. Please don't convince me that I'm great and strong. And that's the best part of me, and I'm happy about it. I am crazy, weird, and strange. Is there something wrong with me? I can't believe this. Is me, myself, and I the someone I should hate? I really don't like saying that. I had always wondered to myself, so who do I admire? Well, there is a somebody, including myself. Another word for admiring could be love. So who do I admire, or rather, who do I love? There's no way that it can be me. I am ugly and not good enough. There's not one single person that can say, I am wonderful and loving. Being hated and shouldn't be here. And there's a big doubt about I do admire myself. Now I'm going to be reading from the bottom to top. I do admire myself, and there's a big doubt about me. Being hated and shouldn't be here. I am wonderful and loving. There's not one single person that can say, I am ugly and not good enough. There's no way that it can be me. So who do I admire, or rather, who do I love? Another word for admiring could be love. Well, there is a somebody, including myself. So who do I admire? I had always wondered to myself about that. I really don't like saying that the someone I should hate is me, myself, and I. I can't believe this. Is there someone out there who is like me? Is there something wrong with me? I am crazy, weird, and strange, and that's the best part of me, and I'm happy about it. I'm great and strong. Please Don't convince me that I'm dull and speechless. Nothing can stop me from saying this. I am proud of who I am. I am who I need to be. I am beautiful, and I love myself. Every day, I lie to myself saying, I have always seemed to not be the person I want to be, and I hate being myself. I am not a good person, nor amazing. I am letting you all know that I am hardworking, smart, and courageous. I am sensible and kind to others. How responsible and brave I am. I convince myself, so don't you guys try to say my life is the worst and I hate myself. Thank you.
That's amazing.
So Cassie's poem, you read it one way and then it changes the story as you read it the other way. And Cassie spent 3 months putting that poem together, which was totally amazing. Our next student is Helene Sanchez Navida, who will be attending Claremont Academy.
The difference I will make, actually the impact I will make in my community, but also in my city in the future, is to stop gang violence, drug dealing, sex trafficking, hurting innocent civilians, racism, and to stop having people look down on women. My class has been researching and investigating for the past 3 months on how this would be possible. But now the real question is, how will I in the future impact my community and the city? I'll tell you. I'll become the first Salvadoran American female in my family to become a millionaire, billionaire, and a CEO. With the money I have made, I will go to the most challenging parts of Worcester. What I will do there is to try and encourage young adults and teens to get an education, to not end up dead, in jail, or hurt. With my help, I would assist their parents or guardians to get a really good job. My second goal would be to make those old buildings that smell like weed, drugs, that have a lot of people, and have some of those called homes demolished. Well, I would have brand new homes for them that would have what a $1,000 apartment would have. A nice bathroom, kitchen, bedroom, living room, even more. All single mothers going to work every day hustling would receive a lot of help, medical, physical, and educational. I will do everything in my power to stop racist events. I want you to remember me and my words. In 10 years, I want you to say, oh yes, I know Helen Sanchez Navidad. I really hope whoever hears this will give me an opportunity. Until then, I will keep fighting to earn my spot.
And our final student, Jakayla Edmund Weeks, who will be attending Doherty Memorial High School.
About 4.9 million people go to jail every year in the United States. The United States incarcerates more people per capita than any other country. The positive impact I will have is helping innocent people and helping to end unlawful practices. I will do this by going to college and learning the law in ways I can be successful with my career path. Many lawyers make impacts on their society by representing individuals in civil trials, but not me. I actually want to have a connection with my clients. I actually want to help them beat their case and not because of money. Becoming a lawyer means you need to know how to and negotiate with and manage people. The world needs great lawyers. It is a priceless act to be continually presented with opportunities to help people their entire legal career. I want to be a lawyer because legal career consistently and never fails to present challenges that can make the difference in others' lives.
Now at this time, we're going to celebrate. Everyone is a champion in the Worcester Public Schools. So please join me and watch the screen. Who's in the house? Academic Center for Transition champions. Adult Learning Center champions. Belmont Street Community School champions. Burncoat High School champions. Burncoat Middle School champions. Burncoat Street Preparatory School champions. Canterbury Street School champions. Challenge Reach Academy champions. Chandler Community School champions. Chandler Magnet School champions. City View Discovery School champions. Claremont Academy champions. Clark Street School champions. Columbus Park School champions. Doherty Memorial High School champions. Dr. Arthur F. Sullivan Middle School champions. Elm Park Community School champions. Flag Street School champions. Forest Grove Middle School champions. Francis J. McGraw Elementary School champions. Gates Lane School of International Studies champions. Gerald Creamer Center champions. Gerald Creamer Center Evening Program champions. Goddard School of Science and Technology champions. Grafton Street School champions. Hurd Street Discovery Academy champions. Jacob Hyatt Magnet School champions. Lakeview School champions. Lincoln Street School champions. May Street School champions. Midland Street School champions. Nelson Place School champions. New Citizen Center champions. Norbeck Avenue School champions. North High School champions. Quinsigamond School champions. Rice Square School champions. Roosevelt School champions. South High Community School champions. St. Casimir's Alternative School champions. Tatnick Magnet School champions. Thorndike Road School champions. Transition Program champions. Union Hill School champions. University Park Campus School champions. Vernon Hill School champions. Warwickis Road School champions. West Tatnick School champions. Woodland Academy champions. Worcester Magnet School champions. Worcester East Middle School champions. Worcester Head Start champions. Worcester Technical High School champions. Worcester School Committee champions. DAB champions. Athletic champions. Crossing guard champions. Facility management champions. Information technology champions. Multilingual education and La Familia School champions. Nursing champions. Parent Information Center champions. School nutrition champions. Special education and intervention service champions. Social emotional learning child study champions. Transportation, bus drivers and bus monitor champions. Worcester Family Partnership champions. Thank you. Worcester Public Schools, everyone is a champion. Okay, as many of you know, when we did the graduations, although I cannot sing, I had my debut then to take me out to the ball game. So today, you're in for a treat. We're going to do it one more time, and I'm going to have Dr. Charles also play the guitar and accompany me. And I hope wherever you are watching in this, let's hear your voices all the way down at Polar Park. So please join us in singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back for it.
Rooting for the whole team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3, 5, we're out at the old ball.
Take me out to the ball game. Ready? Let's do it in a rock and roll version. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Woozok. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. One more time, because it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Okay, now I'd like to introduce to you the Worcester Red Sox president, Dr. Charles Steinberg. Dr. Charles has been very instrumental in all kinds of activities and opportunities for our Worcester Public Schools staff and students. So I'm very proud to be able to introduce him also to you. Please welcome President Dr. Charles Steinberg.
Thank you, Superintendent. And I'll pretend that I can see all of you. I was really envisioning all of you filling this ballpark, and I still will hold on to that vision. We would love to have you all here together. But there's some things that you should probably know if you are part of this wonderful, expansive, extensive family of educators in our community. It was thrilling to see our 4 WUSOC scholars here. And what you should know is what came before. How did that happen? What's the origin of the story? And I get teased for starting stories with, well, the day after Adam met Eve. But I'll try to move it along. But I will take you back 33 years. It was 1988, and the state of Maryland had just given the go-ahead to allow the Baltimore Orioles to build a new ballpark in downtown Baltimore. And young Larry Lucchino was the president of the club, and an accomplished attorney with fabulous education credentials from Princeton University and Yale Law School, educated in the city school system of his native Pittsburgh, not Fitchburg, but Pittsburgh. Larry then had before him the task of turning a vision of an old-fashioned downtown ballpark into a reality. And he was up to his ears in architecture documents and engineering documents when into his office walked a young woman from Mississippi who said, "You need me." And he said, "I need you. Who are you?" And she said, "My name is Janet Marie Smith, and I know you have a vision for an urban downtown ballpark." He said, "What?" And she said, "And that's right up my alley." He said, "What do you know about baseball?" She said, "Try me." He said, "What league has the designated hitter?" She said, "I'm offended by the question." He said, "Good, let's get to work." And that's when Rogers met Hammerstein. And Larry Lucchino and Janet Marie Smith set out to build a beautiful little ballpark in Baltimore, not knowing it was going to have a sociological impact on the entire country and that would affect the city of Worcester so many years later. They built Camden Yards. They were a fabulous duo, and it had a resonance. It struck a chord, and suddenly mayors were flocking to Baltimore saying, "I need one of these." And so the children of Camden Yards popped up in San Francisco, in Cleveland, in Denver. We went to San Diego and built one there. More than 100 cities in Major League Baseball and Minor League Baseball have used the principles of an old-fashioned downtown ballpark with modern amenities that reflect the city, that celebrate the city, that characterize the city, that showcase the city. And it all started with Larry Lucchino and Janet Marie Smith. 29 years ago, in 1992, when we opened Camden Yards, you could not have imagined that the duo would be reunited to do their act once again here in the city of Worcester. That was not a foreseeable vision back in 1992, but that's exactly what happened. After building ballparks in San Diego, after saving Fenway Park, after building a ballpark in Florida for the Red Sox spring training, after Janet Marie built ballparks in Atlanta, after she saved and has restored Dodger Stadium, here they are together. They're here today. They're in their offices in meetings today. They're both going to go in the Hall of Fame. They're both going to be enshrined in Cooperstown, not for any exploits on the field, not for hitting home runs, but for using their intellect and their imagination, their ingenuity, and their persistence and perseverance to make change that they believed in with all their heart. But that's not the whole story. When Camden Yards was built in 1992, it was a phenomenon. People were flocking to it. They were filling it every day. And one day, Larry Lucchino and I walked out of the ballpark of Camden Yards. It was the team was on the road, so we left early, about 7 o'clock at night. And Larry said, "Look, everything we're doing is making front page news in the Baltimore Sun. just as you see so many front page stories now in the TNG. He said, if we sneeze, it's A1 top of the fold. We have to use that opportunity, he said, to do something good and big and dramatic for the city. He said, you do 10,000 things for 10,000 people in the community, and you should still do that. But we should have a program for which we're known. We should have a community initiative that is synonymous with the Orioles. He said, look, up in Boston, which we had no idea we were ever going to move to, up in Boston, everybody knows about the Red Sox and the Jimmy Fund. So we should have something. You're from Baltimore, he said to me. Figure out what it is. And that's where you come in. Because growing up in Baltimore City and going to Baltimore City schools through 7th grade, and then the school system was going so downhill. It was so dangerous. The issues then were, maybe it sounds familiar, should there be police in Pimlico Junior High? There were guns in Pimlico Junior High. I was stuck with a pin, and so were some other kids. And so I did get into a private school in Baltimore, and I saw the power of education and when teachers have the resources behind them. But I saw something else. I saw the nightly story on the news about another drug-related murder in East Baltimore, another drug-related murder in West Baltimore. These weren't old folks. These were kids. These were teens, young teens, maybe younger. And the more I studied it, the closer I got to it, the more the tragedy unfolded. These weren't hate crimes. This was simply the cost of doing business with a replenishable labor supply as kids were being recruited, the bright kids were being recruited to work in this multi-billion-dollar drug industry. And you want to tell the kids, oh no, stay in school, keep your nose to the grindstone, keep your head down, graduate from high school, go to college, and you'll get a good education and you'll be a contributing member of society. But that wasn't the reality of their neighborhoods. That's not what they saw. If anybody did make it out, they left. They didn't stay. So the question we tackled was, how can we give children at a young age the assurance that their dreams can be funded? What if I could take that middle schooler and say, you show such promise, but I want you to believe. Here is a college scholarship now in the bank with your name on it that will be used for tuition and books when you matriculate to the college of your choice. It was only a thought. It was only a dream. It was a challenge from Larry Lucchino, and several of us worked on it. And I went to the superintendent of Baltimore City Schools, Dr. Walter Ampray, and I said, are we on the right track with this idea? He said, can I kiss your ring? So yes, we were on the right track. But then the Orioles were sold. Larry Lucchino was out and the new owner was in. I proposed it to the new owner, Peter Angelos. He said, that's a good idea. But then Larry Lucchino took over the San Diego Padres. And he said, you're so steeped in Baltimore, you'd never think of leaving, would you? But I knew that I liked working with Larry. I knew he was a leader, an innovator, and the best champion of ideas you could ever imagine. And so I went with him to San Diego before we got the Scholars Program started in Baltimore. And he said, let's pick up where we left off. I met with the superintendent of San Diego County Schools, Dr. Rudy Castrita. Told him the idea. I said, I can't tell you that this vision for Baltimore fits in San Diego. He said, it fits like a glove. He said, but you're going to need a companion program, a mentoring program, a nurturing program. You can't just promise money when a child's in middle school, hold your breath, close your eyes, and say in 12th grade, how did it all go? He said, but we started a program here in San Diego that's national called AVID. I see the heads nodding. Advancement via individual determination, started by Mary Catherine Swanson. He said that is an example of a companion program, a college preparatory program. And so we worked with Avid. We sat down with our ball players. We did something that had never been done in baseball. We had our players and our owners come together to fund the scholarships. And on June 19th, 1995, we introduced 25 middle schoolers. Actually, on the first day, we introduced 4. We then selected the other 21. So on June 19th, we introduced 4 Padres scholars who would each get a $5,000 college scholarship. And the selection process was one of the most emotional and rewarding processes I had experienced. We did the 4, then we did the 21, and every year we did 25. We presented 25 college scholarships, and boy, did we get to know the students. I can still recite their names. Every year we did that, and it was great, and it worked. And the students became a family. And then year after year, they had what I call vertical socialization. The 10th graders were back to welcome the 8th graders, as were the 9th graders, and they all got to know each other. So much so that when some of them were in college, they were reaching out to the high school seniors to let them know what it would be like. It was fabulous. We came to the Boston Red Sox after that, and Larry said, "Are we going to do the scholars program here?" I said, "You bet." He said, "We got to take the money up." I said, "Fine by me." So we took it up to $10,000. Now, you need a really big, prominent, strong foundation to do that. But Larry's a leader, and we did that. So 25 Boston area middle schoolers from Boston Public Schools became Red Sox scholars. Well, we do that year after year. I then went to the Los Angeles Dodgers, was talking to the superintendent there about a program, but then I went to the commissioner's office, came back to the Red Sox. We still had the scholars program. They had reduced it to 10 behind my back, but they said it was easier to manage. Well, tell that to scholar number 11, but all right, I'll live with it. And then we come to the Pawtucket Red Sox, and we've got to start Paw Sox scholars, and we do. Don't have a big foundation. So we started with 2 students a year, and then we got it up to 4. And now here we are on January 28th, was it January 28th of 2020, we created the Woo Sox Foundation with a first order of business being to establish Woo Sox scholars. And yes, once again, the application process was exhausting. But how about that essay that Cassie Wong wrote to you? When you're reading that top down with your heart feeling harrowed, and then it says, now read it from the bottom up. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I've been in baseball 46 years, and that means I'm even older than that. I've never seen that. And when I saw Cassie today, I said, how about that essay that you wrote? I had no idea she was going to read it to you. We've got to publish that. It's fascinating, just a fascinating mind. All right. That's the Woo Sox Scholars Program. That's the beginning. There's more. We want to establish Woo Sox mentors. We'll work with big brothers and big sisters, but the students are going to come right from your classrooms. We want to establish MVT awards, most valuable teachers. We know that nobody knows how to stretch a dollar like a teacher. Going into your pocket, going to the store, making your own, using your own expenses for the sake of the students. I love teachers so much I became one. I now teach at Emerson College. And I know, I go to the store and buy things for, I'm not even going to try to get reimbursed. So we want to have small stipends, maybe $100, that a teacher gets when you are nominated by a student as a most valuable teacher. All that you're hearing is the beginning. This is the impact of Polar Park. This is the impact of having the Woo Sox. Yes, it's wonderful to have baseball. Yes, it's wonderful to have the Red Sox. But this is the story, and you are the story. We've got your back. We will come to you. We will speak at your assemblies, whatever you like. We'll bring our mascots. My email, csteinberg@woosocks.com. I don't regret giving that out. csteinberg@woosocks.com. We can do so much in this community, and you're on the front line. We thank you. We appreciate you. We celebrate your students, and we celebrate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dr. Charles. And now for our guest speaker, our motivational speaker. Little information about Jeremy Anderson. He experienced many challenges, such as drug and alcohol abuse and constant failure in school. He was able to transition from that to now being a powerful speaker who inspires and instructs students, teachers, and leaders on how to take their lives to the next level. He is most proud of his family. He and his wife, Tracy, live in Atlanta, Georgia, with their 2 children. He is joining us here today from Atlanta, Georgia. So, Jeremy Anderson, take it away.
It's not going to be easy, but all of your wildest dreams can come true.
He's so impactful with his words.
Jeremy was phenomenal.
Our school system was blessed to have him. I was about to cry.
The 24 years I've been here, the best, the most motivational, most inspiring I've ever heard.
I want the people to know, who is Jeremy Anderson?
Motivational speaker Jeremy Anderson will be in town to speak to the Boys in the Building Men program.
Let's start with this question. Who is Jeremy Anderson?
Yeah, so husband, father, son, for many people, a voice of change, and for others, a voice of hope.
When you get to a point where you can give your school your best and your family your best, let me tell you something, you're gonna go from one level to the next level, and we're gonna look up one day and we're gonna see you at the top. Bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you. I'll take the stage at 7:15 to 8.
To your feet and put your hands together for Jeremy Anderson.
How does it feel to be experiencing this level of success?
Yeah, so it feels good, but I gotta say, I was not always experiencing this level of success, right? My mom had me when she was 16 years old. I had repeated failure in school, years of drug and alcohol abuse. Like, I know how it feels to fail. I know how it feels to fight through depression. I know how it feels to feel like you're not good enough. So now when I speak, now when I share, I'm able to be that voice for others. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can let this next generation know that their condition will not be their conclusion.
This is a great honor for us. Anytime we can get somebody that's known nationally as a speaker here, it makes a lot of difference.
My passion for educators, teachers, counselors, like those who are responsible for shaping the hearts and minds of these kids, I realized something. I can reach 1 million kids, right? But if I can reach 1 million teachers and I can have an effect on them, now they can reach 20 million kids.
I implore you to come and find a Jeremy Anderson conference. You will leave blessed, you will leave inspired, and you will leave fired up to go back to your classroom and to do the work that you've been called to do.
So with all my travels from schools and universities, all my travels at conferences across the country, across the globe, like, I want people to know, like, yo, you can live your best life. It's not gonna be easy, but if you hang in there, all your dreams can come true.
You good? Bless, man. Yeah, it's showtime.
So here's the crazy thing, Sissy. Me and my wife quit our jobs in 2012, right, to be able to do the work that we're doing today. And to see where we are today, it's pretty sobering. It's one thing for me to travel the globe speaking and motivating, but now to be able to give back is something special, right? We're sending teachers across America on cruise vacations. Our nonprofit is sponsoring 40 students in South Africa for college. Like, this is a global impact. We're feeding thousands of kids per month through our nonprofit. Like, that's the type of global impact that we're making, and I'm pretty proud of it.
With all this travel and speaking, being away from your family, I can't imagine that this is easy.
Well, no one said changing the world would be easy.
Present to you all today. What's up, everybody? I'm so excited to be able to present to you all today. My name is Jeremy Anderson. I am pumped up. I've been sitting back for the past, maybe 45 minutes and hearing the different presenters. I've been hearing all the schools being shouted out. So what's up to all you champions out there? I'm excited and I'm glad to be able to take you out to the ball game. You know what I'm saying? And it's my goal. Listen to me clearly. It is my goal for this presentation I'm about to give you to put something inside your heart, to put something inside your mind that's going to help you take your school, that's going to help you take your classroom, that's going to help you take your district to a whole other level. Like it's our goal, right? It's to knock it out the park this year. Like that's our goal, to be able to go to the next level. I love the fact that you all have been acknowledged as champions. Come on, y'all. Our superintendent, she's so special. I remember the conversation we had a few months ago preparing for this event. She talked for like 20 minutes about how much she loves the district, about how much she wants to give back to the district, and how many ideas she has for the future. I was just sitting on the phone listening with my assistant thinking like, wow, like her energy is amazing. Like I talk to superintendents every week, but there's something special, and I'm excited to have this opportunity to present to you all. I find it an honor to present to you. So let me first start by saying this. To every teacher, to every administrator, to every person that's driving the bus, right? To every person that works in the front office, to every person that's a part of the food service industry, right? With the schools that's feeding our kids, to every person that helps with the maintenance, to every custodian, to every person that's a part of our great school district. I need you to hear me and hear me clearly. Every single one of you has a very, very important role to play. Every single one of you is intricate to the growth and development of our school district. I'm excited to be able to share with you, and I want you to understand something. Whether you're in the classroom, whether you're driving the bus, whether you're keeping the school clean and tidy, whether you're preparing meals, whether you're in the back office, like whatever you do, whatever role you have with our district, your role, your responsibility is important and it's key. Now, let me just share something with you here. We don't know what's going to come in the future. We don't know what's going to happen with this new Delta variant. We don't know what changes are around the corner. But I will share one thing with you. I believe that if every single one of you take to heart what I'm about to share with you, I believe that if every single one of you will tap in and really listen to what I'm about to share with you, you will realize the power, you will realize the influence, you will realize the strength that we have together and what we can accomplish as a district. Let me share something with you. When I travel the world, you saw my video that my team put together. Every time I watch that video, I feel weird. Like every time I watch it, I'm looking at my computer screen like, wow, they're talking about me, right? Like every time I watch that, it kind of blows my mind. Why? Because beyond all the degrees I got and bachelor's, master's, and writing books, like beyond all of that, sometimes in my heart, I still feel like that little boy. I still feel like that little boy that didn't have a purpose. I feel like that little boy that didn't have a sense of worth. I feel like that little boy that felt like he was a mistake. My mom was 16 years old when she had me. Sometimes bad things happen to innocent people. And my mom decided to keep me. She decided to love me. She did the best she could with me, but I struggled. I dealt with years of abandonment, years of drug and alcohol abuse, years of depression, years of rage, a diagnosis of ADHD. My biological father was never present in my life. I struggled. I am like many of the students that you find in your class or in your cafeteria or in the hallway or on your bus day-to-day. Like I represent that student that was just struggling. I'll never forget during a parent-teacher conference, my mom and me was meeting with one of my teachers. Mr. Cooper literally told my mom, something's wrong with your son. He's not high school material. He's not good enough for high school. Those words affected me. Your words move worlds, right? Like what you speak has so much power inside of it. As a matter of fact, I read one time in this good book, it said that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So what you speak has the power to make people feel good and optimistic, right? Like the words that you speak has the power to make people feel pumped up and encouraged, like, yes, you can do it. What you speak has the power to make people feel unified and together, optimistic about the future. But you also, every single one of you watching me, you also have the power to speak words that can make people feel sad and down, depressed, discouraged, divided. So when that teacher told me that I wasn't high school material, it really affected me. Like in my heart, like I really began to think like, man, he don't even believe in me. There's no way I'm gonna be successful. When the next year comes around, this is my first school for the 9th grade. I said first because I went to many. I'm at this new school and it was the weirdest thing. It's just like, I was there with my boys. I was just doing my thing, trying to find a way to fit in, but I still heard his voice echoing. I tried to fit in. I was getting in trouble. I was, getting suspended. I was starting fights and rumbles every day. I would find myself always getting suspended or whatever. And one day, this school kind of, Oakwood Academy, they kind of had their final, they was like, okay, that's it. We're done with you. Like, we can't tolerate this anymore. They got all bent out of shape because I cut the electricity off in the school, right? Like the whole school went black. And it wasn't just my fault, right? This was like some Ocean's 11 type of stuff here, Danita got me the keys, Corey ran a diversion, someone else got me out of class, and I'm in a utility room with all these levers and lights and switches, and I pulled down this one switch that said main, and pull it down, and the lights in the whole school go out. Then I heard the chant that changed my life. Jeremy, Jeremy. I'm thinking, yeah. I thought it was so cool. Then I thought about it. And I was like, no. The whole school's chanting my name. The words spread around quickly. Next thing I know, I'm getting kicked out of school. The next year comes around. I get accepted at this new school called Johnson High. This is my second try for the 9th grade. I'm at Johnson High. I'm at this new school, and I'm doing the best I can, so I thought. On the first day, my teacher, Jeremy, I'm not here to babysit you. I heard all about you. I'm not putting up with your mess. If you don't have to be here, if you don't want to be here, they don't pay me enough to deal with your stuff. On the first day of school, there was no Jeremy, let's give it a try. It was just, I'm not here to put up with your mess. I'm not here. They don't pay me enough for this. And I get it. She was burnt out. She was frustrated. She heard about me. My reputation preceded me. It was an interesting thing. And you can imagine I didn't respond well to that. As a matter of fact, my attitude was like, I don't want to be here anyway. My attitude was like, you know what, whatever. I don't care. I hate school anyway. I never really went to class. I never really went to school. I never really focused. I just kind of just floated and did my thing. Well, at the end of that year of hanging out, going to skip parties where everybody was drinking and smoking and having a good time, like I got to a point where I said, you know what, whatever, forget it. And at the end of that school year, I got my final report card, all Fs and 1 C. Think about that, right? All Fs and 1 C. Now, can any of you guess what I got a C in? For those of you that's thinking PE, you're right. Gym, PE was the only class I would kind of go to on a regular basis. All my other classes, I completely bombed. Now I'm looking at this report card, and I'm thinking like, okay, my mom's going to kill me, right? Like my mom's about this tall, but she don't play no games. I'm thinking like, this is not gonna be pretty. And I came up with this plan to change my grades. I go to the library and I get this whiteout and I blotch off all the Fs in the 1 C. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I blotch it all off. I let it dry. I get a pen and this ruler and put the small little lines and dots, and I forged my report card. Like I gave myself all A's and 2 B's. Like I spoke life to myself, you know what I mean? And it's looking pretty legit, but you can tell it's not the original report card. It's not the same card stock. It's not the same shape. And I'm thinking like, I don't know if this is gonna fly. Well, that's the best I could do. And as soon as I get home, my mom's at the front door. Now, she typically didn't get home until like 6 o'clock. As soon as I get home, mom's at the front door. Give me your report card. I'm nervous. I'm like, hey, Mom, how you doing? She's like, boy, give me your report card. I'm nervous. I'm like, my, what a lovely day it is. What are you doing home so early? She said, stop stalling. Stop playing with me. Give me your report card right now. I'm super nervous. I'm like, okay, Mom, let me explain. Calm down. I hand her my report card. She snatches it from me, gives it one glance and said, boy, where's your real report card at? I said, Mom, let me explain. She was like, I don't want to hear it. I know what you did. I'm like, you do? She said, yes, you lost it. How you lose everything? Boy, you lose your head if it wasn't attached to your neck. You lost your report card and you went to the office begging them to make you a copy of the original that they have on file. I could tell this ain't the original. I could tell this is a copy of your original report card. Yep, you're right. You're right. And she's like, I know I'm right. I know everything. I'm like, you sure do. So my mom's like literally looking at the grades now. And she called me by my whole name, Jermaine Anderson, come here right now. So I slowly start backing up because I'm thinking like, this going down. I'm in some serious trouble. Like my mom is this tall, but when she gets angry, she turns into the Hulk. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, this is not gonna be pretty. She's like, come here right now. I said, yes, Mom. And I look up at my mom, her lips starts to shake, her nose begins to flare, and her eyes get watery. My mom literally breaks down into tears. She's like, son, I always knew you could do it. I'm so proud of you. I only give you a hard time because I knew there was greatness inside you. She wraps her arms around me and just like breaks down crying, like so overwhelmed with joy. It was so extreme that I found myself getting a little emotional, right? I was like, I told you, Mom, I'm gonna make you cry. I told you. So I'm hugging her, she's hugging me, and we actually shared a moment. Now I know some of you might be thinking like, okay, that's interesting, that's kind of weird, but we were sharing this moment. And I wasn't emotional because I actually thought I made those grades. I was emotional because this was my first time not feeling like a mistake. I was emotional, you know what I'm saying, because this was my first time my mom was proud of me. Like I was emotional, you know what I'm saying, because I'm used to tears of sorrow, tears of pain, tears of joy, tears of frustration, but the tears of joy was different. I'm used to her crying if I got kicked out or suspended or arrested, or I ended up in juvenile detention. Like I'm used to that. But tears of love and joy and excitement was different. That summer was amazing. And my mom told everybody, my baby made A's and B's and I milked it as long as I could. But I'll tell you, just like I tell your students, right? What's done in dark eventually comes to light. I've been privileged to travel all over the country, all over the globe. 40% of my speaking engagements are for events like this. The other 60% are the students. Wait till I get my hands on your students, right? Like there's a way of connecting with them that I have. And I often share when I'm in elementary schools or middle schools or high school, I'm talking to the students, I'm telling them like, look, what's done in dark comes to light. Honesty really is the best policy. You think you're slick now, you have all the answers, but there's a way that life can catch up with you. And boy, did they catch up with me. At the end of the summer, they sent my real report card home attached with a letter. The letter simply said, Miss Anderson, as you know, your son Jeremy failed the 9th grade again. Are you going to keep him here or should we move his transcripts to another school? My mom was in denial. She calls the school. Yeah, I think you have the wrong family. They're like, no, we don't. She's like, I'm pretty sure you did. My son made all A's and B's. Or they said, no, he didn't. They're going back and forth. I'm thinking like, hang up the phone, Mom. You know, just hang up the phone. Like, I'm sorry. And again, my mom was in tears. But now it's not the tears of joy. Now it's the tears of pain. The tears of frustration, right? The tears of heartbreak. She says, why do you embarrass me? Why would you lie to me like this? Why do you continue to break my heart? And I remember thinking like, come on, Mom. Like, break your heart? That's so extreme. Like, how are you going to put me in a category of other men who hurt you? Like, that's not cool. But I'm realizing now that my behavior doesn't just affect me. It affects others, right? And I wanted to change. This is what I want all of you to know. All you amazing teachers, administrators, all you staff that works in different areas, different fields, I need you to know something. At that moment in my life, I really wanted to change, but I did not know how. I felt like I would always be a failure. I felt like I would always be behind. I felt like I would always struggle in school. But my mom was a great mom, and she moved me to a new school that next year. Now, I'm at this school called Huntsville High. This is my 3rd school just for the 9th grade. I'm at this school, Huntsville High, and on the first day, I'm thinking like, okay, these teachers are weird. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, okay, y'all are weird. Like y'all are super optimistic. You are super happy. You're super kind. You're super patient. I'm thinking like, this is weird, right? Like the love that I was getting, everybody was so upbeat. I'm thinking like, why are y'all so happy to be at school? Like all the other schools I went to, the energy was so low, but this school, it was so high. was thinking like, this is weird. Like, why are y'all so happy? Like one teacher was like, hey, Jeremy, I heard so many great things about you. I'm so glad you're in my class. I'm thinking like, you've got to be kidding me. He's like, nope, Jeremy, I'm glad you're in my class. I heard so many great things about you. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we heard you got some serious leadership skills. They didn't say if it was positive or negative, right? They just identified and acknowledged that I had some good leadership skills. So I tried to reject their love, but they were so positive. They were so outgoing. They were so upbeat. I was just like, I don't know. Then I said, oh, this is probably one of those new age schools, right? Where they're a little bit more relaxed and lenient. Maybe they have like a little Kahlua in the break room. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe a little Bailey's Irish cream to mix with your coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like a little Jack Daniels, a little whiskey, never hurt nobody. That's what I thought, right? Like maybe this is like wine down Wednesdays. Like y'all got wine bottles in the break room. Like why is everybody so happy? Why is everybody so cheerful? They said, no, we don't have any wine in the break room. We don't have any whiskey. We're just, we're just excited for the new school year. And I said, oh, okay, now it makes sense, right? Their energy, they were so excited for the new school year because it's the beginning of the school year, right? I'm literally thinking like, of course they're excited for the new school year. It's the beginning of the school year. Surely by the time September and October comes around, this excitement will leave. Nope. I'm thinking like, what teacher is not excited about school, at the beginning of the school year? Like, I really feel, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, right? But I really feel like if there's a teacher out there on the first day of school, they're like, oh, I hate these kids. Like, that's a problem, right? Like, if the first day of school, you're frustrated, the first day of school, you're irritated, like, that's a problem. So I said, okay, maybe they're just optimistic and excited because it's the beginning of school year, but they kept that energy for months. And as much as they loved me, watch this, as much as they affirmed me, as much as they challenged me and redirected me and spoke life to me, I just built up a wall. While they were building a bridge, I built up a wall, brick by brick. Should I have opened up my heart? Yes. Should I have made better connection with them? Yes. But I just felt like I couldn't trust them. And by that time in my life, I'd experienced so much abandonment, so much betrayal, so much rejection. I was just thinking like, man, is this even possible? I was just like, nah, no, thank you. But then I began to notice a few things. Like when you notice that you got teachers diagnosed with cancer, but they still show up, like that does something to your psyche, right? When you realize that you had teachers that was in other career fields, making 2-3 times more money, but they left that career field to come to the classroom. Like that did something to me, right? When you realize you got teachers going through divorce, one teacher buried her husband, another teacher had a triple bypass surgery, and as soon as she was able to, she was right back at the school. I'm thinking like, man, nothing is stopping these teachers from showing up every single day. I'm like, this is weird. When I realized they didn't have to be there, let me share something funny with you. So there was a time when I kind of thought that teachers like just had to be there at school, right? I kind of felt like they had to be there. It was almost like the draft, right? Like the government decided what you did for a living. I don't know where I got that from, but I kind of felt like the government was like, okay, so you'll be an accountant. Okay, all right, you'll be an engineer. Okay, you're gonna open up a restaurant. Okay, you'll be a teacher. Good luck. Right? Like when I realized that these educators chose to go into this career field, when I realized that the people that was working at our school that was either like in the cafeteria, the food service, or the bus drivers, or maintenance, like when I realized that they were retired and they came out of retirement because they wanted to work at a school to add value to their community, to add value to their district, to help mold the hearts and minds of these young students. Like when I realized that, everything changed. Can you all hear me okay? It looks like I froze. Am I back? Okay, so you can hear me. You just can't see me, right? Okay. All right. So let me just keep going, and we'll see if the picture cuts back on. Sorry about that. So I'm at this school. They're speaking life. They're encouraging me. They're pouring into me. They're showing me so much love. I'm thinking like, man, this is crazy. And as much as I want to receive it, as much as I want to open up my heart, as much as I want to build these relationships with them, I'm just thinking like, you know what? This isn't possible, right? I'd experienced so much abandonment. I experienced so much betrayal. But when I realized that my teachers did not have to be teachers, oh my God. When I realized that the government didn't tell them that they had to come to the school, when I realized that they chose to come to the school themselves, when I realized that they chose to go into this field, that's when everything in my mind, in my life changed. When I realized that for them, this was not a career, like this was not an occupation, like this was a calling. Oh yeah, public service announcement. This is not a career, right? This is not an occupation. This is a calling. You got to be called to do this work, right? You got to be called to do this work. You got to be called and a little crazy, right? Now let's just talk about it, right? You got to be called and a little crazy to be able to show up and do this work, you know what I'm saying, on a regular basis, day in and day out. You got to be called to do this. It's not going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be challenging. It's going to be frustrating. There are times when it's going to be really weird, but you got to be called to do this work. And so I'm looking at these teachers who decided to show up every single day. They say, Jeremy, we see something great inside you. Jeremy, we got your back. Jeremy, you know what I'm saying? Well, you can catch up with your right grade. Even though this is your third school for the 9th grade, Jeremy, you can hit the reset button and do something absolutely amazing. I'm thinking like, wow, like this is epic. So I'm thinking like in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Whatever you all tell me to do, whatever adjustments you want me to make, whatever you want me to do, you know what I'm saying? You want me to start showing up to school early? You want me to start doing my schoolwork? Like you want me to start doing my homework? You want me to stop fighting? You want me to stop, being disrespectful? Like whatever it is you tell me to do, I am willing to do it to make the biggest impact. Like that's where my mindset was. I was like, you know what? Whatever I got to do, whatever adjustment I got to make to be able to connect with these teachers as they're trying to connect with me, let's go. And I put the work in, y'all. And it was not easy. It's the weirdest thing. It's like when I realized that my teachers actually saw something special inside of me, I began to say, man, maybe I'm not a mistake. Right? I began to say like, man, maybe there is something special, sitting inside of me. I say, you know what? Like maybe I can catch up with my right grade. I had to get to a point where I had to believe. I had to believe what was possible. I had to believe in what I could achieve. I had to believe in what I could experience. I got to a point where I say, you know what? I choose to believe. Like my shirt, teach by faith and not by sight. I had a group of teachers that said, you know what? We're going to teach by faith and not by sight. We're not going to look at Jeremy and see his background. We're not going to look at Jeremy and see what struggles he's had. We're not going to look at Jeremy and say, oh, well, because Jeremy comes from this family or because Jeremy comes from this community, he can't do anything special in his life. No. We're going to look at Jeremy and we're going to see the best inside of Jeremy. We're going to speak life to Jeremy. We're going to challenge Jeremy. We're going to hold Jeremy accountable. Do you know what happened? They didn't say, oh, look at the little black kid that doesn't have his biological father that's diagnosed with ADHD. They said, no, look at this young man here that can be successful, that can catch up with his right grade. They said, we believe that Jeremy, every setback is a setup for a comeback. Let me give it to you again. They said, Jeremy, we believe that every setback is a setup for a comeback. And so I realized, like, man, maybe I can be a scholar. I realized, like, man, maybe I can be successful. I realized, like, man, maybe I can hit the reset button. I said, man, maybe I can catch up with my right grade. And I began to put that work in. The school said, hey, we're going to get you more active. We're going to get you more involved. So we need you to be more involved with the school. So they said, Jeremy, you should join the track team because I was really fast. And so I joined the track team, right? And I did that. And then they said, okay, Jeremy, that was really great. Now we think you need more structure in your life. So you should join the Army ROTC. Okay, I said, okay, yep, I'll join the Army ROTC. I'll do that. And then they said, okay, Jeremy, that was cool. Now we think you should join Sigma Phi Psi. It's a scholarly fraternity. I said, really? We're throwing frat parties? They said, no, Jeremy, you're going to be going to study hall, right? And so I joined Sigma Phi Psi. And I began to put that work in, and I took summer school, and I took night school, and eventually I caught up with my right grade. I would have never thought I would have never thought, after all I experienced, after all my challenges, after all my trials, after all my struggles, I would have never thought that I would be able to catch up with my right grades. Summer school was the worst, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? Night school was the worst because when I would leave from Huntsville High at 3:30, I had to be at the Selden Center at 4:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday till 7 p.m. It was not fun, but I realized, like, you know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do so you can go where you want to go. And I took summer school and I took night school, and guess what happens? Imagine, take a guess what happens. I caught up with my right grade. I got to a point where I was able to hit the reset button. My mom is sitting here at my high school graduation, and my mom is like, son, I knew you could do it. She's sitting there crying. I'm like, thank you so much, Mom. She's like absolutely blown away. Like, son, I am so proud of you and what you were able to accomplish. She's crying. I said, Mom, I'm gonna have you crying for the rest of your life, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna have you crying for the rest of your life. She's like, son, I'm so grateful and I'm so proud of you. And it felt so good. It felt so good to hit my reset button. Now, why am I sharing my story with you, right? Because you have students that you work with. You have students at your school. You have students that's gonna come to your classroom. You've got students that's gonna be on the bus, right? You've got students that's gonna be in the cafeteria, in the hallway. You got students that you're gonna be working with, and many of them are gonna be struggling, right? I oftentimes find myself not advocating for like the average student. Sometimes I find myself advocating for those students who are really struggling, those students who are really in the really dark place, those students who need extra care, extra focus, like extra attention. Like I find myself advocating for those students who are in a really, really weird place, because I realize that when you give a little bit extra, I realize that when you go above and beyond, I realize that when you teach by faith and not by sight, something special, something magical happens inside of the world. Like I realize that, right? And so now I advocate for other students from different walks of life. Now, I feel like all kids are able to do something absolutely amazing, but let's be honest. There are some students that need a little bit more focus, right? There are some students that need a little bit more help. There are some students that need a little bit more attention. And when you're able to give them that attention, when you're able to give them that love, when you're able to give them that support, it's like magic happens. It's like magic takes place. Okay, I think I'm back now. Like when you're able to give them that extra care, when you're able to give them that extra attention, when you're able to give them that extra love, it's like something special happens. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird, right? Because there are times in life, I'm glad that the video cut off for just a minute, because that's a reflection of life. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes things are like, hey, this is going pretty good. And then you come across me in your classroom. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes there'll be situations where you're like, man, I love teaching. Let's be honest. Some of you started teaching and this was your first year. And you was like, this was amazing. And then you had year number 2, year number 3, and then COVID came. And you said, oh, what are we gonna do? Let me tell you what you didn't do. You didn't stop. Did I stop speaking? Did I say, hey guys, you're not able to see me, so maybe we can log on next time? No, you keep going. You do the absolute best you can. Some days you might not be at your best. Some days technology might fail. Some days you might feel like your whole world is crumbling around you. But what makes you powerful, what makes you special, what takes you to that next level is when you tell yourself, I won't give up. With life I'll wrestle, for I am a hardworking and resilient vessel. I don't really have bad dreams. I don't really have nothing that keeps me up at night. But sometimes I think about, man, what would have happened if I would have went to that one school with a bunch of regular teachers? Not bad people, just teachers just trying to get by. But luckily for me, right, my third school for 9th grade, I came across a group of teachers that spoke life to me. I came across a group of teachers that said, we're not gonna focus on what's wrong with Jeremy. No. We're gonna focus on what's strong with Jeremy. There's a difference there, right? They said, we're not gonna focus on what's wrong. We're gonna focus on what's strong with him. Let me tell you what I mean, right? I had teachers back in the day that was like, oh, Jeremy's into everything. Well, guess what? I'm into everything now. I'm into everything now, right? I speak for students and I speak for teachers, and then I get to do parent nights, right? I've got a next level student curriculum that pairs perfectly with CASTLE's 5 core competencies of social emotional learning, and it pairs perfectly with PBIS. I would have never thought that our company, our team of 16 employees, most of them are former educators, that we would be producing years later a character curriculum that can service the social emotional needs of students. I would have never thought that I would have a next level teaching book and a next level parent book. My 8th book is a parenting book. Jeremy, why? You're probably wondering, Jeremy, why would you write a parenting book? Well, the number one complaint that I would get from administrators that I work with across the country are not the students, they're the parents. And sometimes I want to go to the parents and say, come on, guys, you know your kids are crazy, right? So I wrote the book, Next Level Parents, to show parents how to build stronger relationships with the schools, but also show them how they can effectively communicate with their children so that student achievement can rise. I'm into everything now. I would have never thought I'd be here. They said, Jeremy, you're all over the place. Well, guess what? I was in Wyoming speaking 2-3 days ago. You know what I'm saying? Before that, I was in Iowa, then I was in Michigan, then I was in Chicago. What they thought was wrong with me is actually what was right with me. I just needed a group of educators like you that say, you know what? I'm gonna teach by faith and not by sight. I just needed a group of educators like you that will say, you know what? I'm gonna show up every single day and do the absolute best that I can. I just needed a group of educators like you that was like, you know what? I'm gonna be strong enough, long enough to get that breakthrough from Jeremy. Like, I just need educators like you that said, I'm not gonna focus on what's wrong, I'm gonna focus on what's strong. I needed educators like you that was willing to check the ego at the door to show up every single day and go above and beyond for a knucklehead like me. And when that happened, magic changed. Like, it's like fireworks began to spark in my heart. That's why I say I have so much honor for you. That's why I say I have so much respect for you. Every single one of you that works with our students, whether you're in the classroom or outside the classroom, a part of the district, like every single one of you, every single board member, every single staff member, like whatever role you play to enhance our school district, to enhance our community and the lives of these kids, you are so important. That's why whenever it's the new school year, I spoil all, I'm known in my local community, right? I spoil my daughter's teachers. Like on the first day of school, I told my wife a few weeks ago, I said, honey, let's start the school year off right. Let's get a really big bouquet of flowers. I'm talking about like a Miss America pageant of flowers. Like, let's go there and start the year off. And every year her teacher said, oh, that's not necessary. And I say, oh, you don't know my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know my baby girl. Like, my baby girl is going to test you. You know what I'm saying? And I do that because I want her to feel the love. I want my daughter's teachers to feel the appreciation, right? I want my daughter's teachers to feel like the connection, like I want them to feel that. So I wanna know when your birthday is for my daughter's teachers. I wanna know what's your zodiac sign, when's your anniversary, what's your favorite color, Valentine's Day and Teacher Appreciation Week, we are going to cash you out. You do coffee, I'm gonna get you a bunch of Starbucks gift cards and I'm gonna buy you some stock in Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Why? Why do I go above and beyond? Because I realize that educators already have a hard time. And I don't need for my daughter's teachers to come to school one day because she's dealing with something in her heart or her personal life or her spouse got into an argument and then she take that out on my daughter. Huh? Do you realize how much power you have? Do you realize how much influence you have? I only got one daughter, my baby girl. I only got one son, my baby boy. I got two precious children, right? Like their teachers have a lot of influence over them because they spend so much time with them. So I want to have them in the best position. That's why I say you all are so special. That's why I say you all are essential. I'll never forget, about 5 months into the pandemic, I had a friend of mine reach out to me and say, hey, Jeremy, man, I know you're speaking all over the globe. I just saw a video when you were in Australia. That's so amazing. He was just like, look, man, I think you should do a video for essential workers. I said, that's good. I just did one. He said, really? For like the doctors and nurses? I said, no. He said for like the police officers, the firemen, like the paramedics, the first responders. I said, no. I said for the teachers, the people that work in the educational system. He said, Jeremy, look, man, I know you're really passionate. I know that your whole company, you're an educational consultant, motivational speaker, you do training with, I understand your heart. He was like, I mean like real essential workers. And let me tell y'all something. I told my friend, I said, be cautious of what you say next. I said, because educators are very much essential. He was like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm talking about like essential workers, like the ones we can't live without. I said, huh? I said, don't forget, you're the one, my friend, that when the pandemic hit, you were calling your daughter's school every day. Hey, when y'all gonna open the school back up? I said, don't forget, my friend, you know how essential educators are. I said, don't do that. I said, educators are very much essential to the growth and development of our future leaders and our future generation. I said, if the educator, I said, all these people, all these doctors, all these engineers, all these nurses, all these paramedics, who's gonna keep their kids? They can't show up and be essential if they are not able to be free from their children. So I'm sharing this, I'm advocating. I know the power that you have. I know the work that you put in. I know the sacrifice that you make. I know the love that's inside your heart. You're different. This is why I told you before, this is not a career. This is not just an occupation. This is a calling. You gotta be called and a little crazy. Just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Some of y'all are not crazy. I'm gonna pray for you. Piquito, just a little crazy. You gotta have a little edge to you to really do what you do day in and day out. That's why I say I'm so honored to be able to share and present to you, because it's hard, because it is frustrating. And because of educators like you, I was able to hit the reset button. Because of educators like you, I was able to say, you know what, I'm ready for more. You know what, I can bounce back. You know what, I can go on and do great things. Because of educators like you, I went to summer school, I went to night school, I got more active, I began to believe in what was inside of me. Remember when I told you earlier that teachers weren't saying, oh, look at those poor little kids, they're struggling. No. They challenged me. They spoke life to me. They encouraged me. They held me accountable just like the real world would. But it came from a place of love. Let me tell you what I mean. Whenever I go to a school and I ask students and I say, hey, who's your favorite teacher? You know what I never hear? Oh man, Mr. Sikowski, he's my favorite. I'm like, why is he your favorite? Man, because when he gives us homework, I feel the love. I never hear that, right? Like, I've never once heard that. I've never heard them say, man, Mrs. Appletree, she is amazing. Okay, why is she amazing? Man, the way she does her curriculum just does something to me. I've never heard that, right? Like, never. You know what I hear? I hear, man, Mr. Sikowski, I know he got my back. Man, Miss Appletree, she's my favorite teacher. Why? Because I know she likes me. Like your energy, the light that you put out, the love that you put out, you were so special. And every single one of you was so powerful. I've got some friends that say, hey, Jeremy, you know, I had that one teacher that changed my life. My story is like yours. I'm like, your story's not like mine. Because when I went to Huntsville High, if I had one teacher that was next level, I wouldn't be where I am today. If I had one teacher that taught by faith and not by sight, I wouldn't be where I am today. But luckily for me, I had a group of teachers. Luckily for me, there was a whole community. Luckily for me, there were several people that showed up for me. Luckily for me, there was a culture. Come on, y'all. There was a culture within my school. Luckily for me, there was a culture in the classroom. There was a culture in the hallway. There was a culture within the school. There was a culture within the district. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were all champions. That's why you were acknowledged. She acknowledged you as all being champions. Like, we all had that championship mindset. Like, there was a culture there. And I began to connect with that culture. There was a culture of, we teach by faith. Here at this district, we teach by faith and not by sight. Here at this school, we teach by faith and not by sight. Here in my classroom, I teach by faith and not by sight. That's different. That's different. And I felt that energy. It's hard. Can we just acknowledge how hard it is? It's hard to teach by faith and not by sight, because you do see streets, you do see records, you do see information. We all have different biases that we struggle with. But when we get to a point, we say, no, I'm not gonna do it. I choose, I believe that this person will do something great. That's where the power is. When we tell ourselves, you know what, I choose to see the greatness inside of him. I choose to see the greatness inside of her. I choose to see that scholar. I choose to see that engineer. I choose to see that teacher. I choose to see that social worker. I choose to see that dentist inside of them. Like, faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. So it's like faith, we have to believe. We have to just get to a point where we believe in what these kids can accomplish. We believe in what they can achieve. And when we do that, everything changes. And that's what happened for me. I went to high school. I finished on time. I went to college. I got my bachelor's degree. Then I went to graduate school. I got my master's degree. And in 2010, I wrote my first book and became a published author, and then wrote 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I've been able to travel the world with this message of hope and inspiration. Again, this is why I honor you, because of the work and the sacrifice that you put in every single day. And can I just take a moment and acknowledge how hard it is? All these years, our company, our whole team has been focusing on the whole child, right? We've created our curriculum, we've created our lessons, we've created our everything within our school and our company. The culture is to focus on the whole child, but we also like to focus on the whole teacher. We also like to focus on the whole full service worker. We also like to focus on the whole counselor. We also like to focus on the whole bus driver. Can I just focus on the whole you? Can I just focus on just for a few minutes on the whole you, right? You know the importance of teaching by faith and not by sight, right? And I tell teachers all the time because they love to go to the website and buy the t-shirts, but I tell them don't just buy it and wear it, embody it. When you wear it with pride, like when you're in the bathroom, you wash your hands, you look at yourself in that t-shirt, it's the most comfy shirt you'll ever wear too. And you're telling yourself like, you know what? This is a reminder for me to teach by faith and not by sight. It's not just a slogan for others, it's a reminder. It's like, so you tell yourself, I will teach by faith and not by sight. You go above and beyond, you build relationships, you meet these kids where they are, you challenge them, you stretch them, all of that. But at the same time, you gotta take care of you. This is what I realized. When I realized that my teachers could get that diagnosis from the doctor, like when I realized that my teachers could go through, they could have their own health challenges. Like when I realized that my teachers could go through their own financial issues. When I realized that my teachers could go through divorce and were struggling, when I realized like their own children could lose their mind, but they kept showing up every single day. Like they kept, you know what I'm saying? Like speaking life, like they kept, when I realized that, I was just like, oh, this is different. I was like, oh, wow, this is different. Like I didn't realize this, like this is special. You don't have to be here. You chose to be here and you got your own stuff you got going on. I wanted to speak life, right? I don't want to be one of those people that's out of touch that says go above and beyond and give these kids your absolute best. I just want to acknowledge that sometimes life can kick your butt, right? I want to acknowledge that sometimes things can just hit you really, really hard and have you in a really, really dark place. Like I want to just acknowledge that sometimes you have to go through challenging times and hard times and situations, and it's not going to be easy and it's going to be frustrating. Truth be told, before the pandemic even hit, many of you were going through a rough patch. Like truth be told, like many of you were in a weird place where you were trying to figure things out. You suffered from depression. You had some challenges. You know what I'm saying? Like you were in a weird space with your spouse, but you showed up every single day. That's different, right? You decided to say, you know what? I'm gonna be strong enough, long enough. You told yourself, I'm gonna do the absolute best I can to make the biggest impact out here in the world. And I just wanna acknowledge and let you know, I know it's not easy. I just wanna let you know, I know how challenging and how frustrating it can be. But there's something special, there's something powerful inside you when you choose not to give up, when you choose to go above and beyond, when you choose to say, you know what, I'm gonna do the absolute best I can with what I have and where I'm at, like that's where your power is. There are teachers every day that walk to the school with their head down, they're sad, they're depressed, they're discouraged, they're not sure how things are gonna work out, but you say, nope, I'm walking with my head up high. Nope, I'm excited. Nope, I'm optimistic about the future. Like you speak life and you encourage yourself. That's where your power is. Now, I went to the school, right? When I first started speaking full time, before I quit my job, me and my wife were working for 2 different companies. And this little girl, she had red hair and freckles. I went to this middle school to speak. After I got done speaking, she was in tears. She said, Jeremy, you just saved my life. I'm thinking like, wow, I saved your life? She said, yes, you just saved my life. It's like, how so? She was just like, look, I've been going through a really rough patch. I've been dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts, and I was gonna come home, I was gonna come to school and commit suicide, but I heard your story and now I wanna live. I know that weapons will form, but they won't prosper. I know now that I'm more than a conqueror. I know now that my condition won't be my conclusion. I know now, Jeremy, that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Like all the stuff I was sharing with her, she was sharing it back with me. And she was just like, I am so excited, Jeremy. This is going to be an amazing year. I'm pumped up and I'm thinking like, okay, wow, like this is different. She's like, you saved my life. Thank you so much. Give me a hug, runs off the class. Of course, I tell the principal, the guidance counselor, hey, get with her. She had planned on committing suicide, get her some further help. But I sat with them. I went home, I told my wife, I said, honey, this girl told me she committed suicide, right? It's time for me to quit my job and go full-time speaking. My wife was like, nope, I'm gonna quit my job too and manage you together. I was like, okay, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like, slow down, right? Like, I need you to work because my work worked for the government at that time. So her salary alone could cover the car note, you know, saying the mortgage. She was like, nope, we're gonna build this together. We both walked away from 2 great incomes, retirement plan, 401k, benefits, healthcare, the whole shebang to do this work. You would think that life would be smooth. You would think that because we're good people and we really wanna make an impact out here in the world and we made a grave sacrifice, you would think that everything would work out, but it didn't. My wife was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, endometriosis, adenomyosis. We lost 2 babies. back to back. Depression was just sitting over our home. Unhappy, tired, depressed, trying to figure it out. It got to a point where if we didn't travel and I didn't speak, like we didn't eat. But we just believed that things would get better, right? We just believed a brighter day was gonna come. We just believed that weeping would endure at night, but joy would come in the morning. We believed eventually things would work out. Then my wife, she loses her mom, her father, her aunt, her grandma within like 15 months. It seemed like nothing was working out. It seemed like death and depression was just I just want you to know, I get it. Month after month, every 3 months we get a different call that someone new in her family passed. I'm like, what is going on? We're good people. We're making an impact in the world. It seems like everything is just going wrong. Funeral after funeral, depression, marriage counseling, we bumping heads, intimacy gone. Like, we're just in a weird place. I'm thinking like, what is going on? But the most brilliant thing we did was we didn't quit and we didn't give up. And why am I sharing? Why am I being vulnerable with you? Right? I haven't had the privilege to meet you in person yet, right? Hopefully I get to come to your schools and work with your students or whatever, right? But why am I sharing? I just want you to understand that I get it. I want you to know I know how hard it can be. But when we work together, that's where our power is. We might have differences. We might have different religious beliefs. We might have different political beliefs. We might look differently. We might listen to different music. But when we come together for one goal, which is the students, right? When we come together with one mission, which is the students, right? Like that's what really takes us to the next level. We don't know what's around the corner, but when we hear from our superintendents, when we hear from our administration, when we hear from our leaders and they say, this is what we're doing, you know what our response has to be? Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Aye, aye, Captain. Whatever it takes to get the job done for these students. That's what makes you next level. When you become a team player, when you tell yourself, I will teach by faith and not by sight. I will speak life and encourage and affirm, not just the students, but also the administrators, also the leaders that's trying to figure this out just like us. We are stronger and united together. But you gotta make sure that you not only are strong in your classroom, but strong at home. Because when you're strong at home, you'll be strong in your heart. One more time, don't miss it. I want you to be strong in the classroom, but also I need you to be strong at home. Because when you're strong at home, you're strong in your heart. Whenever I had the privilege to meet different teachers of the years, you know what I find? That all these amazing educators across the country, many of them, they give their school their best and their family the rest. Let's not do that, right? Let's not give your school your best and then your family what's left over. I'm gonna share with you a few things before I wrap it up that's gonna show you how you can give your school your best and your family your best, right? I want to make sure that you don't even get to a point where you feel like that you are like burnt out, right? I'm gonna share with you a few things that can help you fight burnout, where you can get through the school year and be like, man, I feel really good. I feel really strong. Like this is an amazing, awesome school year. Like I'm gonna share with you a few things. For one, what kind of rest are you getting? You know how you start your day depends on how you end your day. What kind of rest are you getting? Are you getting good rest? Are you getting REM sleep? REM sleep is like rapid eye movement. Like that's that deep, deep sleep where your body actually is at its best rest. Some of you all have not gotten REM sleep in years, which is why in the wintertime, you're still wondering like, why are you so tired? You slept 7, 8, 9 hours, where your body never really shut down. You never really get to that REM sleep. Some things that can help you there is what you eat. Your biggest meal should actually be breakfast because you're breaking from the fast the night before. We're talking about self-care. I believe that self-care is the best healthcare. Again, I told you I'm holistic, right? I'm one of the most holistic speakers you'll ever speak to. I want to focus on the whole you. I don't want to just motivate you. I want to teach you a few things so that you can live your best life, right? Your biggest meal should be breakfast because you're breaking from the fast from the night before. Your moderate meal should be lunch, and your smallest meal should actually be dinner. The earlier you eat, the better. For many of you, that's hard. You've got kids, you've got activities, I understand it, but the earlier, the better. Because the earlier you eat and you're still active around the house or moving about, you know what I'm saying, your body begins to digest it faster. But if you eat at 8, 9 o'clock and then you're going to go sleep at 9 or 10 o'clock, your body's not really resting because it's still digesting that food, right? What are some things that can help you get REM sleep at night? Maybe some natural sleep aids, non-habit forming like melatonin, right? Maybe you take you a hot shower or a hot bath. Come on, fellas. You deserve bubble baths. That's right. Come on, fellas. All of you deserve bubble. You'll be surprised what Dr. Till's Epsom salt would do with that spearmint and eucalyptus. You know what I'm saying? With that lavender vanilla. Like whatever you got to do to just woosah all of you amazing teachers, wherever you are, like to woosah at night, set boundaries, tell your family after this time, don't call my name, leave me alone, let me just woosah, have some time to myself. That's what you got to do. They say that educators, those who work in the school districts and school systems, and nurses are two of the occupations where people are most selfless. But in this season, for you to get the most out of your life, for you to go to that next level, you got to be more selfish with your time. You got to choose you. There's a reason why when you're on the airplane, they say in case of emergency, you put your oxygen mask on, then you help the person next to you, right? There's a reason they say that. Take care of yourself. And then in the morning, you get that good night's rest. Don't just run to your kids or run to get dressed. Take some time for you. 30 minutes to rest, 30 minutes to read, meditate, pray, work out, whatever you do, you deserve 30 minutes for you. If you make a habit of doing that, and I know for some of you, like, that's really hard, but the most successful people aren't the most gifted or talented. They are those who are the most disciplined. I want you to take better care of yourself. I want you to speak life to yourself. I want you to encourage yourself. I want you to affirm yourself, right? I want you to prioritize yourself. That's what's going to be key. Right? When you take better care of yourself, then you're going to find yourself moving differently. Then you're going to find yourself being stronger. Then you're going to find yourself being more optimistic. Then you're going to find yourself being more excited about the school year. Now you're going to have more longevity. Now you're going to have more stamina through the school year. Now you're going to feel like, yep, August, September, October, November, December, holiday time, January, February, March, April, May, summertime, and you feel good because you're taking care of yourself. Now, for those of you people who are going above and beyond every single day, I want to take a moment and say thank you again. But I want you to know I understand how hard it is. I want you to know I understand how challenging it can be. But there's something special about when we work together. Let me share something with you here, right? When the December came around and the pandemic first hit, me and my team decided to do this video for educators, right? It's gonna be like a motivational video called The Gift That Keeps on Giving. And in the video, we highlighted all these amazing educators, you know, that were going above and beyond. And so I'm in this school here in Atlanta, and I got my film team there, and we're filming, and I'm highlighting all these awesome teachers, right? And so after I highlight each one, I say, you are the gift that keeps on giving. So one teacher I highlighted, he would cook food for students after school, teaching virtually, and then drop the meals off. Another teacher would teach and tutor through a screen door for those kids who were really struggling. Another teacher turned his kitchen into a chemistry lab. So I highlighted all these amazing teachers, right? And I'm like, you are the gift that keeps on giving. And so when I get done, our team says, cut, everybody's clapping. We feel really good. We say, man, it's going to be a really powerful video. And I look to my right, and the co-host for our Next Level Teaching podcast, we have a podcast. I don't know if y'all like podcasts, but you will love the Next Level Teaching podcast. On the Next Level Teaching podcast, me and my co-host, Tori Rodriguez, she is an educator, been an educator for years. We interview some of the most inspiring minds. You're gonna laugh, learn, and live your best life. You'll love the Next Level Teaching podcast, right? So I'm talking to Tori, and I look at Tori, and she's crying. I'm like, man, Tori, what's wrong? You should be excited. You should be pumped up. You're a teacher. Like, this video is gonna be amazing. She was like, well, I don't feel amazing. I don't feel pumped up. I said, well, what's going on? Now, one thing you should know about Tori, in our podcast, we're very transparent. And Tori's been getting counseling to kind of navigate this pandemic space. So she's just like, Jeremy, I just don't feel so awesome. I'm struggling. I've been seeing a counselor and hearing about all these amazing things other teachers are doing. It makes me feel worse. She's like, I'm seeing a counselor and a therapist weekly. Like, I'm barely trying to hold on. I said, cut the cameras back on. And I'm gonna share with you all right now what I shared with Tori and what I shared with the world. For those of you that's watching my presentation, whether you're at the ballpark, whether you're at your school, whether you're watching it virtually at home, like, I don't want you to think that maybe you're not a next level teacher. Maybe you're not on that next level because you're not teaching, you know what I'm saying, or tutoring through a screen door after school, or you're not dropping off meals, or you're not turning your kitchen into a chemistry lab. You're still the gift that keeps on giving because you didn't quit, because you didn't retreat, because you continue to show up every single day. Like, that makes you special. That makes you powerful. The fact that you've gone through all you've gone through, many of you at times, you might feel like you've been overworked and underpaid. You're not always getting that thank you that you feel like you deserve. You feel like you have to jump through so many different hoops and make so many different changes, but you still showed up. And then a global pandemic came and we were teaching virtually, mask in the class, concurrent. It was so many different things going on, so many different changes, but you still showed up. You did not allow for the challenges of the situation to stop you from answering the call. You did not allow for the pain of the situation to stop you from fulfilling your purpose in life. That's why I say you're amazing. That's why I say I have honor for you. That's why I feel like every single one of you that works with our school district, whether you're in the classroom teaching or you're supporting that school in some other way, every single one of you has a major impact. Every single one of you is next level. Every single one of you is special, and you all are essential to the growth and development of our country. And I'm gonna share this with you right here. If you get to a point where you say, you know what, I will teach by faith and not by sight. When you get to a point that says, you know what, I will do the best I can every single day. When you get to a point where you say, you know what, I will look at every single student and believe that their condition will not be their conclusion. When you tell yourself, you know what, I'm gonna not look at my students and tell myself, you know what, I'm not gonna focus on what's wrong with this kid. I'm gonna focus on what's strong with this kid. When you look at your fellow teachers, your fellow bus drivers, cafeteria workers, people with the district, and you say, you know what, whatever we gotta do, let's work together so that student achievement can rise, so that their future can rise, so that their hope can rise. When we harness that inner champion inside of us, we're gonna go from one level to the next level and the next level, and we're gonna look up one day and we're gonna see you at the top. That's my time. God bless you all. Back to the ballpark. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Jeremy. Now, let's all join in singing with Smiley, Sweet Caroline, as our Burncoat High dancers warm up. Are we all ready? Let's go.
Where it began, I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong. Was in the spring, then spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Hands, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Everybody knows this sweet cat. Good times never seem so good.
So good, so good, so good.
I've been inclined to believe they never would, but now I look at the night and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only 2 or 3 if you include Smiley. Then when I hurt, hurting runs off of my shoulder. How can I hurt when holding you? One, touching one, reaching out, touching me, touching you. 1, 2, 3, 4, Sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Now, one more time, Sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Sweet Caroline. Thank you, Superintendent Benenda. You're a wonderful partner. We love our partnership with the Worcester Public Schools. Thanks to our school committee members, too.
And thank you for Smiley, who joined us today. And now will actually join us for our Burncoat dance team. Kelly Shea, department head at Burncoat High School. Justine Panucci, a teacher at Burncoat Middle School. This dance team has won 7 state titles. Just learned that they qualified for the National High School Dance Team Championships for the 2nd time. Also would like to thank Liz Vecchio, Joanne Deschennes, Rob Zella, Katie Oliver, Hannah Butler, the Worcester Red Sox, Dr. Charles Steinberg, and Bob Walton for their help today. Please join me in the Burncoat High School Dance Champion Team performance. Thank you to our Burncoat High dancers, and thank all of you for joining us today as we broadcast from Polar Park. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be visiting schools to see all of you next week as we begin the 2021 school year, remembering you are all champions. Thank you.
Sox 21. Gather all the kids, enjoy a day in the sun. Blue Sox 21. The fun has just begun. A magical time in our history has come before our eyes. Our colorful cultural city is alive and on the rise. Blue Sox 21. Now we have a parking team to call together and pitch a little woo. Oh, they lost the 8th letter, but they found something much better. The only way to get things done is working hard together. They say it every way beyond the 7 hills above. Yes, it's hard to say, but it's easy to love. Just imagine what this means to the world. A ballpark at last that celebrates our past and our future too. Blue Sox 21, the coolest, warmest relax I can we've ever known. Blue Sox 21, welcome home.